Star Trek just introduced its own version of the Hunger Games. When Star Trek first launched in 1966, Gene Roddenberry envisioned a future where humanity had outgrown war, poverty, and barbarism. Starfleet's guiding principles were about cooperation, exploration, and a prime directive forbidding interference in the natural development of other cultures. Yet, one of the reasons Star Trek has lasted for nearly 6 decades is its willingness to test those ideals. From the savage arena battles of Arena to the political morality plays of Deep Space Nine, the franchise has never shied away from showing how even utopian societies can slip into darkness. Now, in its boldest move yet, the latest Star Trek series has introduced a storyline that mirrors the Hunger Games, and it's far more disturbing than fans expected. A deadly twist on a familiar concept. In the newest season of Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, or insert upcoming series name if unspecified, episode fictional title, The Contest of Survival unveils a hidden corner of Federation space, the isolated planet Nivax Prime. At first glance, Nivax appears to be a paradise, gleaming crystalline cities, verdant landscapes, and a society boasting zero crime. But Captain Pike and his crew quickly discover the dark foundation of that peace. Every 5 years, the Nivaxian government holds the Ascension Trials, a brutal, planet-wide contest where one individual from each district must compete in a series of deadly challenges to determine who ascends to the ruling council. Citizens volunteer under immense social pressure, but the games are mandatory. Failure to produce a tribute results in severe sanctions. It's not a direct copy of Suzanne Collins' The Hunger Games. There's no boat-wielding Katniss Everdeen here, but the parallels are unmistakable. Like Panem, Nivax has used ritualized combat as a means of maintaining control. And, like Katniss's Defiance, the episode's plot hinges on a Starfleet officer challenging the system. In this case, it's Lieutenant Lon Noonien Singh, whose own genetic heritage gives her a unique insight into societies built on survival of the fittest. Starfleet's moral dilemma. One of Star Trek's most enduring themes is the tension between Starfleet's idealism and the harsh realities of the galaxy. In The Contest of Survival, Pike faces one of the most difficult prime directive decisions of his career. Technically, the Federation cannot interfere with Nivax's cultural practices. But when one of the tributes is a 12-year-old child, and the crew witnesses a training accident that kills a volunteer, the moral lines blur. In a scene echoing Captain Kirk's arguments in the original series episodes like A Taste of Armageddon, Pike challenges the Nivaxian Council. You've traded war for ritual, but the blood you spill is still red. Yet the Nivaxian leader counters that the trials have kept the planet at peace for 300 years, preventing civil war and preserving their ecology. This ideological stalemate sets up a classic Star Trek ethical debate. Can a barbaric tradition be justified if it prevents greater suffering? And does Starfleet have the right to decide? The Arena, reimagined, Star Trek has dipped into the forced combat trope before. In Arena TOS, Kirk was compelled to duel the Gorn to end a larger conflict. In Gamesters of Triskelion, he and his crew were enslaved as gladiators for the entertainment of disembodied aliens. But what makes this new Hunger Games storyline different is its scale and its integration into a functioning society. Where previous episodes treated arena combat as a one-off spectacle, Nivax's Ascension Trials are institutionalized, a recurring, systematized event that shapes politics, economy, and family dynamics. The world-building details are chilling. Families train children from birth to be ascendants, corporations sponsor tributes, and even art and music revolve around glorifying past champions. It's less a game and more a state religion. The production design leans into this dystopian grandeur. According to interviews with the episode's production team, the Ascension Arena was inspired by both Roman amphitheaters and modern esports stadiums. Holoprojectors transformed the environment into jungles, deserts, or zero-gravity obstacle courses, creating a visually stunning but deeply unsettling spectacle. Lon's moment of defiance. The emotional core of the episode belongs to Lon Noonien Singh. As a descendant of Khan, she spent her life wrestling with the ethics of genetic superiority and violent leadership. In The Contest of Survival, she is assigned to escort one of the tributes, a teenage girl named Renka, and becomes increasingly horrified by the trial's brutality. When Renka is injured during the opening round, Lon volunteers to take her place, citing an obscure clause in the Nivaxian code. This not only shocks the locals, but also throws Starfleet protocol into chaos. Pike orders her back to the ship, but Lon refuses, arguing that Starfleet's presence has already influenced events and that the child deserves a chance to live. What follows is an intense sequence of challenges. Think Ninja Warrior meets gladiatorial combat, where Lon's tactical genius and moral courage are put to the test. She uses non-lethal tactics to disable her opponents, improvises with alien technology, and ultimately exposes the trials as a rigged system designed to keep power in the hands of a corrupt elite. Her defiance sparks riots among the spectators and forces the Nivaxian Council to suspend the games for the first time in centuries. The bigger picture, Federation hypocrisy. What makes this story resonate beyond the episode itself is how it mirrors tensions within the Federation. The show draws subtle parallels between Nivax's trials and Starfleet's own less visible competitions. The grueling entrance exams, the ranking systems, the political jockeying between planets. By framing the episode as a mirror to the Federation, the writers suggest that even utopian societies rely on forms of competition and sacrifice, albeit less overtly violent. There's also a clear meta-commentary on modern entertainment. Just as The Hunger Games critiqued our appetite for reality TV spectacle, this Star Trek episode invites viewers to examine how even we, in the real world, consume fictional violence as entertainment. The fact that this storyline has become a water-cooler topic online, with memes dubbing Lon Katniss of the Final Frontier, shows how powerfully it landed. How this shapes the season arc. Unlike older Trek shows where episodes were mostly self-contained, Strange New Worlds has increasingly embraced serialized storytelling. The contest of survival plants seeds for a larger season-long arc. The fallout from Lon's intervention may threaten the Federation's diplomatic relations in the sector. The Nivaxian Council vows retaliation, hinting at a coalition of like-minded worlds who resent Starfleet's moral superiority. Meanwhile, Lon's actions reignite debates within Starfleet Command about the limits of the Prime Directive. Admiral April warns Pike that good intentions can start wars, while Spock quietly supports Lon's logic, noting that intervention is inevitable once observation alters behavior. This tension sets the stage for a possible 3-episode arc dealing with the political blowback of Nivax's reforms and the rise of a new anti-Federation alliance. Fan reactions, Katniss in space. The fandom's response has been electric. Within hours of the episode's release, #Star Trek Hunger Games was trending on social media. Some fans praised the show for returning to the moral complexity of DS9, while others accused it of shamelessly ripping off YA dystopian tropes. Memes comparing Lon's phaser to Katniss's bow flooded Reddit. Critics, however, note that Star Trek has always borrowed from contemporary pop culture. In the 1960s, TOS episodes echoed Cold War fears and Vietnam debates. In the 1990s, DS9 tackled terrorism and refugee crises. Now, with